Hello and welcome to another great episode of the Weekly Report with me, Faraji Kevin. I'm telling you, it's been a great, beautiful week. But I'm telling you, we have all this, the drama, the everything of the week put together for you so that we can have a good time really dissecting what has been happening throughout this week. And remember, we have a very great and able veteran journalist as our panel today, as our guest today, who will be helping us to dissect issues political, issues societal, issues of life and happening in this country and across Africa. He's none other than Disckson Rono, who is also the CEO of Rono TV International, based in Nairobi, Kenya. It's one of the great production houses that deals with production, live and everything. Mr. Arap Rono, are you there?
Hello.
You can hear me, Mr. Arap Rono?
All right.
I can hear you, but I can hear you too, but there's a bit of echo. But we will get back to you, Mr. Arap Rono, shortly. Meanwhile, as we want to start the show off. All right, on our first show right now, we are going to start with the current news happening in the country. First of all, we want to pay our condolences to the former chairman of the IEBC, Mr. Wafula Chebukati, who has been ill for quite some time, and it's sad to lose him. People have different opinions and ideas, but at the end of the day, he served this nation at the place where he served. And right now, we just want to wish him and wish his family our deepest condolences towards this tragedy. Moving on to our current news. Now, the housing has been an issue in this country. Oh yeah, the Kenya Kwanza housing management or housing finance and housing funding has been a total drama. The other places where people feel like it's actually working, where they're actually seeing high rises being built, but then in other places it's a bit different. You know, some people are still struggling to get their compensations for where they were taken out from the places. I want to try if Rono is still able to hear us again. Disckson Rono, I hope you can now hear me loud and clear.
I can hear you loud and clear, Raji.
Perfect. I can hear you also loud and clear. First of all, let me actually find if I can actually, yes, I should be able to see you. Just hang in there. I should be able to see you. But tell me, Rono, what do you make of the confusion that is going on with the Kenya Kwanza housing? What is the problem?
Thank you, Faraj, for the question. What I'm looking at is,
yes,
the government always creates space for investors to invest, and also for the workers to go and look for jobs. I think the government was very okay in starting the housing scheme, because that is where they can create jobs, can create business for businessmen like me and you.
Yeah.
And all of us can then thrive from the housing scheme. If I was to talk a bit about the housing in Kenya, there is a problem. There's a disconnect between the housing itself and the Kenyan. You see, people believe that these houses belong to the government or President Ruto, as per what they say. But first things first, Kenyans don't go out looking for these jobs because they don't believe there exist some jobs in those markets. Right now, as I'm speaking, I'm in Eldoret. I have actually come to Eldoret to see if there are some housing schemes going on as promised by the government of Kenya Kwanza. And true to it, Faraji, I can tell you, I have seen 3 sites that are already ongoing.
Yes.
Young men working, there's a lot of activities going on.
Yes.
Actually, there's a lot of construction going on those sites.
Yes.
But when you come to Eldoret town and ask if the houses are being built, the Eldoretians don't know. In fact, I had a meeting with some of them today, like 100 of them. Not even a single man works in those sites. And then when you ask them why, they say, hizo ni manyumba za serikali. Is it true?
But Arap Rono, let me ask you.
Is it the government, is it true that comes to hire the people who will be working as masons? Is it Ruto who hires the people will come and work as carpenters? No. So I think the main problem that is with this country is the disconnect between the workers and the jobs.
Let me ask you,
how the necessary questions.
How are Kenyans supposed to access these houses once they're built?
No, stop the accessing of the houses first. Let's go through the problems as they come. You saw them as they come. The first problem is why do Kenyans don't want to work in this project? That is my first question. And when they do, they don't come from the same region that those jobs are. You know why? Can I tell you why? It is the failure of the hands not going to ask for jobs in those sites. They believe those sites are for Ruto as the president. You know, opportunities come to those who always have a choice to go and ask and demand that they work on those sites.
Okay.
But you see, our people, walizoea historia, serikali saidia. Now the government has come up with a scheme. Now it is upon you to wake up in the morning. Now ujitume, wanajitaka kujituma.
All right.
Yeah.
Hold that.
So
hold that thought. Hold that thought. Yes. Hold that thought, my dear friend Arap Rono. Let's go back and watch this video that the housing CS actually spoke and clarified, which she said something that actually made Kenyans get more confused about the housing. Let's have the video. Just press it again. Okay, you're not getting that sound. Just pause it so that we can get that sound for that video. All right, Arap Rono, as we're getting the sound for that video, you're saying something about that it's not a Kenyan issue. It's not a Kenyan. It's not a President Ruto thing. It's a Kenyan issue. But I've asked you a very pertinent question where many Kenyans are asking, how are they supposed to access these houses? That's a big question.
I've told you one thing. The government will create a project. Yeah? It is up to you to go and register for that house. The houses belong to Kenyans. So whoever will live in that house will be a Kenyan. Yeah? So accessing the houses means you wake up or you go into the e-citizen, Boma Yangu, you know, the Boma Yangu app, register yourself and believe that one day you will get a house. The guys who are fighting this housing scheme are the guys who are giving us very substandard houses for very expensive rates. Like I know a friend who lives in a middle class area. He's being charged 35,000 for one bedroom. And you wonder, what did these people bring? What is this that, do they really add value to what they are charging you for? The sewage is blocked. There's no water in that house. You have to go looking for water with jerry cans. And then somebody comes there and says, it's 35,000. What is 35,000? Have you added value to this house? No. So why are you charging me all this money? The government has come up and said, there is an housing shortage in Kenya. Can we build some houses? Everybody is out there fighting them. I'm a journalist myself. We fight the government from morning to evening. Yeah, it's good to always put the government on check. But also, let's look at 5 years from now. If these schemes are really successful, it will help me and you as Faraji, and we will have houses that actually resonate well with us. We have a 2-bedroom for somebody who has 1 child, a 3-bedroom for people who have more than 2 children, 4-bedroom for somebody who has 3 children, and such alike. But in Kenya right now, you find people squeezed in 1 room.
Yes.
1 bedroom, a whole family of 5, and nobody's bothered. Is that the way we should go as a country?
Hold that.
I say no.
Hold it, my dear good friend Arap Rono. Let's see if we can now hear the video. Please play it.
You see, this money is not supposed to give you a house. It's basically the offtake. It's basically the money that is helping us build the house. But then after that, it is you who actually pays for that. You understand? We are not building and giving you. We are building, giving you for you to maintain it as by way of rent. You know, in a way, it's like a tenant purchase. So like if you rent to own, it's a tenant purchase. So if really you feel you can strain a little and take the 2-bedroom one, nobody will stop you, which is also affordable and sustain, and also, given on terms that are still very easy, because we are talking about 4,700 and 7,000 a month. So if you tell me then to give you a house that is 7,000 and your income is, and you see, I don't tell you, you apply. But the income determines what you can sustain.
Latif, are you saying affordable isn't affordable? It's not accessible.
I'm saying social isn't
affordable.
social.
Isn't social, yeah.
Affordable, I have a whole conversation about affordable, but I'm saying social isn't social. Social should be to care.
All right, Rono, what do you make of that?
Even right now in Nairobi,
Yes.
a house of 2 bedroom for 7,000 is an impossibility.
Yes.
Let's be sincere.
Yeah.
This thing is an impossibility as it stands right now. In Nairobi, a 2-bedroom house, even in a very shaggy neighborhood, should be like 25 to 30,000, if I'm not wrong. So looking at it from the government's point of view, they are telling you they will give you 7,000 per month.
You see, this money is not
rent
supposed
to own. Yeah? So why would somebody fight such a scheme that the government will be giving you a house?
The low income.
You will be paying 7,000 rent to own. I should be even the first person to rent that house. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
And people should not be allowed to buy them and then again sublet them to others. Should be checked that if you are acquiring a house, you live in it and you pay it yourself.
All right. There's so much to discuss, Mr. Rono. Moving on to the next story. All right. As my producer here is getting with the next story. Yeah. We actually have for the Catholics the Pope Francis, who actually has been unwell for quite some time, and for Francis who has been unwell for quite some time, but he's been suffering from pneumonia. But right now, he's actually feeling good for about a week right now. So that's just one of the things making it the current news, the things that we are actually seeing happening across the world. Moving on. Now, just on our neighbor here, it's been a very crazy time for one Dr. Kizza Besigye from Uganda. The person has really faced tremendous opposition. In fact, I think Kizza Besigye is the one facing tremendous opposition from the government. He's not the opposition leader. He's the opposition leader, yes, but he's the one facing opposition from the government. This guy never even leaves his house. But right now he has been on a hunger strike for about a week, but then he called it off the other day, the moment they decided that they're going to try him in a civilian court because he was being tried in a judicial, rather military court. All right, and he was being charged for treason. Now, The moment they decided to follow the due process, which he terms that's a due process, he should be charged in a civilian court. He actually called off his hunger strike. Arap Rono, do you think? Okay, Arap Rono, I think we might have. We are getting back to him right now. We're getting back to him right now. As we're getting back to Arap Rono, we would want we want to move on to the next story. I actually wanted to ask him that if he thinks it's actually fair for Dr. Kizza Besigye to be treated the way he is being treated. Yeah. But then as we're getting back to him, moving on to the next story. Now, onto the politics of the nation. Yes. Just getting in our producer doing, my producer is really working hard here. So but in a very short time, we'll be having a very big team trying to make this work and go on very smoothly. Now, we have the AU chairperson currently. He's called Mahmoud Yusuf. Mahmoud Yusuf, who was just elected the other day by the at the end just ended 38th annual Africa Union summit, which was happening at Ethiopia, Addis Ababa. We actually saw the president of Angola being elected the chairperson of the African Union, which was formerly the OAU, and Mahmoud Ali Yusuf being elected the AUC, Africa Union Commission chair, and just at the ended summit. We've just lost Rono, and we'll be getting back to him shortly so that we can diverge more and talk about these very issues that are very pertinent. And you can actually see that Arap Rono is very passionate. He's very passionate about what he has to say. Matters governance, matters government, and matters everything that is happening in this country. Moving on. We've got him back. We've got Arap Rono back. All right. As you're working on getting Rono back, just give me a moment and we'll be having him back on the show. All right, as you're getting Rono back, let's just take a very short break and we'll be getting Rono back on the show immediately right now. back.
I'm back.
Yes. Sorry. Apologies for that, Mr. Rono. Now, we were just talking about the AU chairperson Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, who just won the recent, just ended AU's chairman, AUC chairperson. Now, there's something actually said. Arapuno, we are the ones who used to say that see nini ni maombi.
Yes, see uchawi ni maombi.
Exactly. But let me play a clip of what Mahmoud actually spoke about. Good. Arapono, I'm very sure you're
Yes.
able to hear you're able to hear that. And actually, I don't know. I'm very sure you've not understood anything. But then we got a translator who actually translated. He said that they actually won against people who used money and power, and they only had God. What happened?
They should that guy should just say the truth,
Which is
they are too Arabic for them to vote for any other person. Otherwise, Baba was equal the task. And actually, campaigns are very expensive. It is not a simple thing. Imagine campaigning all over Africa. You have to meet presidents. You have to tell me you'll go on foot to Djibouti to the South Africa Republic.
Do you think there are things the government did that actually really
take
hindered
Route 11?
that? Arapono, do you think there are things that the government did that actually were setbacks to the election of Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga?
I think, in my opinion,
Yes.
if I was to be asked, the government did everything to make Raila Odinga the AUC chair. The only setback is we have an African mind, that we are so tribal, and when we are not so tribal, we are so religious, and when we are not so religious, we are so, what do we call, Anglo, that we cannot even think beyond the books. The former prime minister had won the first round. He won the second round.
Yes.
And then from nowhere, people are now aligning themselves according to Anglo speaking French, Anglos do what. You see, the problem is we have an African mind kind of setup.
Yeah.
Yeah? That we cannot...
So according to you, the government did all
East
it could.
Africa deserves the seat.
The government did all it could.
The government did only... They did all what was to be done. Because anyway, all we needed was to campaign. And the campaign was meeting the presidents. The prime minister met all the presidents of Africa.
Okay. All right, moving on.
When somebody goes out there and says he won because others were using money, he wasn't using money.
Yes.
He also met the president when he was walking on foot.
Hold it right there.
That question.
Rono, let's talk about
Yes.
USA. Let's talk about USA. A federal judge ordered the Trump administration to actually temporarily halt the foreign freeze on its programs. On that one came as a result of the stop work order that was issued by the U.S. Secretary of State Mark Rubio. That was actually in 24th. But then, despite that, the Trump administration still went on to actualize the halt or the freeze of aid coming from USAID. And actually, it has been a very devastating issue to the very many countries, Ethiopia, Kenya, and very many other countries in Africa. Do you think US was actually on the right track? Are there repercussions for US action on this? Arapono.
You know, the US has obviously realized that African countries are really coming up very fast. We are learning things very fast. And, you know, with the internet age, I think Africans are getting a hold on their lives. And now, all of a sudden, South Africa is a bad place to invest in. And South Africa is a very bad place. You know why? The black people are taking over businesses in South Africa.
Okay.
The white people are not happy. All of a sudden, everybody in South Africa is bad because now the regimes are realizing our gold, our everything is the one that is building those big democracies. So all of a sudden, everything about USAID is bad. Because now you are realizing these guys are almost overtaking us in technology.
Question,
So the next
Rono.
big thing, there will be a third world war.
Question, Rono.
It's coming.
Question,
It's coming
Rono.
home.
Question,
Yes.
Rono. And now
me.
that you're talking about the Third World War, do you think US is really going to lose much of influence that it was having in very many of these countries that it was sending aid to? And do you think this is going to open up doors for, remember we're still in the third scramble of Africa. Is it the second or the third? I think it's the second scramble of Africa, where we have Russia, we have China, we have the Arab countries. So do you think US will still hold its influence in Africa with this?
The US has lost grip in Africa. First things first, the Chinese have taken over Africa. The French have also lost grip of Africa.
Yeah.
I've told you this technology is making Africans go so fast. And these guys are now realizing that Africans need to be tamed.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Because if you see, poverty reigns and makes people believe that they are so belittled.
Okay.
So that is what the US has been doing in Africa. They've been actually sitting on our heads for a long time. So they are now realizing with their aid, we are actually working so hard and multiplying it into two. They would not want that to happen.
Hold
they
that.
want us begging them the rest of our lives.
Hold that, Rono. We have a clip by the former president of Kenya, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, and what he thinks about the stoppage or the halting of the USAID. Let's listen in.
Some people the other day crying, oh, I don't know, Trump has removed money. He said he's not giving us any more money. Watu wanalia. Why are you crying? It's not your government, it's not your country. He has no reason to give you anything. I mean, hey, you don't pay taxes in America. He is appealing to his people. Shauri yenu bwana. Yeah? This is a wake-up call for you to say, okay, what are we going to do to help ourselves? Instead of crying, tujiulize, what are we going to do? Haya ametoa hiyo pesa, sasa tutafanya namna gani jameni? What are we going to do? Yeah? To support ourselves. Because nobody is going to continue holding out a hand there to give you. It is time for us to use our resources for the right things. We are the ones who are using them for the wrong things.
All right, there. Arap Ronald, another quick question that I need to ask you. You've heard the former president and what he actually thinks about the stoppage of the aid. Right now, the Ministry of Health was actually requesting about 53 billion to actually fill the space that has been left by the withdrawal of the USAID. Are we actually getting that done?
Kenya, we have money. That one I can tell you for free. The only problem about this money is it is tied into loans that were taken by the former regime, which actually we cannot blame him. But then again, what we are saying is we've tied our resources so much into foreign loans. He's laughing there, yes, but what did he do in his 10 years? Can he tell us that he planned the exit of a contingency in case of an exit of America out of the health sector? Mm-hmm. He should be the one telling us, when I was the president, I came up with this to supplement this. Not laughing at us at this moment.
Is in the Kenya Kwanza taking in much loans than the former regime?
Yeah, it's wrong for him as a former president to come laughing when things are really this hot. He should be sympathizing with the current leadership who are already held up with so many loans that they are paying.
which
They
some of
should
them
come
they have
up
taken
and
by themselves right now in this regime.
Fine. This regime, even if they fix the loans, right now it doesn't make sense. It's picking another loan to pay another loan.
Okay.
I don't know if you're getting the
Yes.
factors right.
Yes. 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 Yes.
So the former president should be sympathizing and saying, when I was the president, I created this fund in anticipation for exit of US aid. No one expected the US to exit. So it's a contingency plan that has to come up and fill that void. But
Okay.
anyway, we are Africans. We will survive. And we will trump.
Hold on to that. Hold on to
We'll
that.
trump.
Hold on to that.
Yes.
All right. I hear what you said. Now, as we're still having the second scramble for Africa, here in this country, we are having the second scramble of the one Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. That is after the AU defeat, the race for the AUC after the defeat, and now he's back in this country. And of course, the Kenya Kwanza regime wants to own him. I mean, I don't know if we just go to the next. The Kenya Kwanza regime wants to own him. They're warming up to him. And same, and that is the same case with the Azimio Kenya One Alliance, who are actually gathering together and making sure that Baba is on their side. But here's the catch. Right now, we have ODM, the Orange House, almost at the brink, almost being split, because one faction does not think that they're supposed to be warming up to the Kenya Kwanza. They don't have any agreement with Kenya Kwanza, and the other side thinks they're actually together and they're going to work together with Ruto. Arap Rono, let me ask you, why is Raila silent amidst all this confusion about whether or not ODM, Azimio Kenya Kwanza, is working together with, Azimio One Kenya Alliance is working together with Kenya Kwanza? Why is he silent?
Raila right now is planning his way around. I believe Raila is not an idiot. He knows what it takes to be a Kenyan politician. You don't just dive into things. Immediately you come from somewhere and destabilize the whole thing. So he's reading the mood in the ground first to understand if he needs to support Ruto or he needs to go it alone, because I don't believe Baba will go with someone else. Baba is Baba. He will go it alone if he makes that decision. But currently, you see, the thing that is forcing Baba to think is the push by the Wamunyoro gang to hijack the whole situation.
Are they hijacking really?
I believe.
No, Arap,
Yeah?
Are they hijacking, or are they the opposition leadership right now in Kenya?
The Wamunyoro gang wants to hijack the whole thing. Yeah? Mm-hmm. And this Wamunyoro gang is a village party. Yeah? It's a village party in Wamunyoro. So the Wamunyoro gang wants to install an MCA who belongs to Wamunyoro unit to be the spokesman of Kenya. No, it cannot happen. Baba now realizes that there's a danger somewhere. Mm-hmm. So he is going it slowly, as he also makes an arrangement on what announcement to make.
But okay, I agree with you. And as we pondered on that, Kenya Kwanza actually has been accused of being an advertising agency, rather an advertising agency government. And the other day, the president was not very amused by Kenyans trying to make jokes of his roadmap and actually his road project, the one from Isiolo to Mandera. Yes, and he was not really amused with that. And this is what he actually had to say. Let's listen in.
Business. Dio barabara itoke Mandera, ikuje Ramo, ikuje Gari, ikuje Elwak. The many people who sometimes enjoy me about about this is serious business. I fairly know many places. I would tell you the roads in northern Kenya, the way I would tell you the roads in central Kenya, I would tell you the roads in western Kenya, in many parts of Kenya. And it's because it's my job, you know. This is the job I applied for, to think about the country, to know what to do, where, and to make sure that no part of Kenya is left behind.
Rono, let me ask you a quick question. Do you think the president is actually supposed to be responding to all this? Is it necessary?
You see, with technology,
Yes.
the president is also human. Yeah?
Yes.
You can see those kind of stints people are doing online, the Ramo thing, the boys dancing. You see, when you go through your social media handles, you will always come across them.
Yes.
And most of the information, the guys running the president's presidential communication team will tell him, please make a comment on this. And when he does make a comment, it kind of vanishes, because it puts whatever people are enjoying to notes. Like the way he said, I'm Kasongo, let's go on with it. I'm okay with it. Kasongo died. They started Kahongo. And with time, that will also die if he says, okay, I accept the word Kahongo. You see, it's human nature. It's human nature to make fun with a powerful politician. Ruto is a powerful politician. He's putting guys into sleepless nights. I can assure you.
Question is,
people have to look for,
Question is, does he have to respond?
To respond.
Yes.
I've told you, with this age of the social media, it is good to respond, because again, if you don't, you will exit the social media like the former president, because they will enjoy you to death. They will destabilize your thinking. So it's always good for him to respond if he finds it fit to do so. And Kenyans also deserve to be responded.
Okay.
It's not bad for him to respond.
Okay, I hear you. And then this is now what the Nyeri Archbishop thinks about what the Kenya Kwanza government is doing, in line with responding, which Disckson Rono thinks is the right way to handle this. Let's listen in.
There has to be less rhetoric. We have to stop advertising and act. Government seems to be constrained to advertisement of government projects, advertisements of plans. Government is not advertising agency. It is an agency that implements actions. That's what we want to see. So let's learn government that follows rules, systems, and builds, not government that has put all its machinery to advertisement. It was called governtisement. We have to move from governtisement to government.
We have to move from governtisement to government. Are you advertising too much? Is Kenya Kwanza advertising too much? Is Kenya Kwanza talking too much?
Information is power. I believe so. Information is power. So if today they kept quiet, everybody will be like, so what is the government doing? When you talk, they say you are talking too much. When you don't talk, they say you are not talking. You are not telling us what you are doing. Why are you quiet? You are eating money. So people will talk. People will have their say. But finally, the government will have its way. And in 5 years' time, or in 2027, we'll be revisit back and say, what have they done? Can we see the projects that they have done? Yeah?
Okay.
We cannot judge a government in the last 2 years. 2 years is a small time for government projects to have worked.
All right.
But
all right.
in the course of time, and we see 5 years, we can say he failed or he performed. But right now, we are always, amefanya nini? What has he done?
Fair enough. Fair enough,
The
Disckson
roads that were left by the other regimes are being finished by this government. I'm not saying I support the government. We have to always ask questions. The government has to be brought to book. They have to be asked questions and they must answer. Now, when they answer, then it becomes an issue. What do really human beings want?
Okay. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Let me actually take a sip of water. As you can see on the screen right now, we have men in regalia. Those are the rapid support forces from Sudan, who actually had their meeting happen here in Kenya in KICC, a move that really did not go well with very many other countries and actually Sudan government, because they, the RSF, were here in the country to chart a way to have a parallel government in Sudan and probably control the areas that they are actually the majority or they're actually having in their control. So see, the Kenyan government has come out very, very sharp in defense and in defending their actions to hosting them in the country, saying that they are actually just contributing and making sure that there's peace in the border countries, in the border countries across Africa. This move has really sparked sharp criticism across Africa and across other people in this country, more so when it comes to issues diplomatic ties. Rono, do you think Kenya is continuously moving in the wrong direction when affairs of other countries kind of take a center stage in this country?
No. I was there during the negotiation for the South Sudanese.
Okay.
Garang used to live in Nairobi. Have you forgotten that? Well, Garang lived in Nairobi until his demise in Kenya. You remember that?
Remember, we are being blamed.
But the Southern Sudanese government was formed in Kenya. What is that? What are these diplomatic groups people are talking about? I was at the launch at KICC the other day. And actually, I asked the right questions. This is not a military government. It's a civilian government being formed in Kenya. What's wrong with that?
Is it?
What's wrong with that? I was there myself. I was in that hall at KICC. So, you see, the problem with Kenyans, we want to see diplomatic groups. I have asked you a question. Mm-hmm. The South Sudanese government was formed in Kenya. Mm-hmm. The Somalia interim government was formed in Kenya. What is so special about Sudan? My question.
Don't you think the sitting government, because it's actually an active government in Sudan right now?
No, you see the problem about our Kenyan counterparts.
Yes.
We want to blow something that is beyond any say. Mm-hmm. We have hosted so many peace negotiations in Kenya, in Nairobi, mm-hmm. to be precise. Mm-hmm. But this one is generating so much heat. What is it about South Sudan? What is it about Sudan?
Is it because Is it because Kenya is seemingly to be stepping on other countries' toes when it comes to diplomatic moves? One, there's the issue of Besigye, who was actually arrested here. There's the issue of the other Tanzanian politician who was actually abducted in this country. There are people who feel the role of our government in the issues of DRC are also questionable. Do you think it's too much meddling into other countries' affairs?
You see, what I read a lot here is we don't believe in our own country to solve issues. We want to create mountains of ant hills.
We have not solved our own issues.
Yeah?
We have not solved our own issues. We still
Which
have
issues
the housing
we have? Kenya is a very stable country.
Okay.
Kenya is a very stable country. The only problem that we face in Kenya is we are so democratic that we always make noise and we feel like we have done a lot. No, it's just noise. Are we really doing something in the ground?
Okay.
Apart from making noise, we are a very democratic, too much democracy in Kenya.
All right. I hear you, Rono. I hear you.
I don't believe a government of this magnitude can make mistakes. You see, okay. I asked the right questions. Is it that we are supporting the rapid defense forces? And they said, no, this is a civilian government. I will provide clips of what I took, yeah, mm-hmm. for you to go through them and listen to what I actually did in English, because actually all their speeches were done in Arabic. So I think the confusion was the Arabic. And you know, Kenyan journalists are very lazy to go and look for what do we call, for translations. So they will translate it from their heads, and they will write stories according to their heads, not about the meeting at KICC.
All right.
It's so wrong. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. I even talked to the general himself, and he says we are forming a government of national unity.
Well, Rono, that may be debatable, because the Rapid Support Forces is actually kind of a paramilitary unit. But then, I mean, that's your opinion. The other people with their opinions. Let's move on to a topic that Rono may not be very, very excited to talk about. Now that he's not a Gen Z. And this, we are going to move on to the trending topics this week as we come into the end of the show. All right, on to our first story that is trending in the country now. You know this face. The beautiful Aziad. Wacha nisiseme sana, because I may actually get kicked out from somewhere. Yeah. So the beautiful Aziad has actually been accused of borrowing money from different places. But the other day, she was actually, some people actually, a fan came through for her and actually paid part of this cash. I mean, who are my friends? One of the people who actually received some of her payment back, they actually went on TikTok to try and really bust Aziad. Was this lady? Let's listen into what she had to say.
Yo guys, thank you so much. Finally nimelipwa. Hanabenta amenitumia do zangu. Akasema rafiki yake amesema atalipia Aziad hiyo do yote. Tulileta public, so nimelipwa na nimetulia. So mambo ya deni mimi sitadai Aziad pesa tena. Nishalipwa guys. Hana Benta amenitumia na amesema ni rafiki yake ameoffer kulipia Aziad mimi, Hana mwenyewe na ule demo 1.8 million. So we are cool. Mimi zangu zimefika.
Yes, I think at this rate I want to fire all my friends unless you can actually come and pay all my debts, 1.8 million to 3 billion. Moving on to another trending story, the big couple or the big comeback. Jamaa walirudiana, wale ambao wanasemanga msini advice, wao waliadvisiwa na wakarudiana. The Mariahs are actually back together. This is very beautiful. I'm telling you, love is a beautiful thing. After baridi kuwatwanga for about 6 months. I'm not sure who actually decided to yield. But then, nashukutu DJ Mo. Baridi liwapiga 6 months hivi wakaona, the streets are crazy. No, they went back to each other in a very private wedding. My producer is actually sleeping and focusing on other things in another private wedding. Let's just look at how it was. Yes. Wawili kwa wawili, bas. Very nice. Now, that was very good, and we wish them all the best as they've decided to make their renewal vows and come back together to form their family. Now, as we always say, as it is the norm in this show, every week, every time, we try to take you back, because we believe that if you don't learn from history, then you may never know where we are actually going. All right, now, today in history, in New York City, sorry, Just hang in there, yeah. In New York City, Malcolm X, an African-American nationalist, religious leader, is assassinated while addressing his organization of Afro-American unity at the Audubon Ballroom in Washington. Malcolm X is one of the leaders that is really known across the world. Malcolm X is 39 at the time of his assassination. He articulated concepts of racial pride and black nationalism in the United States, championing concepts of racial pride and black nationalism in the then racially divided nation. That is today in history. As we wrap up the show, I want to get your parting shots, Arap Rono, and probably as I'm getting your parting shots, I just want to throw in a genuine question to you, from the way I hear you. Is the country in the correct path?
In the correct path.
Yes. Are we moving in the right direction?
Kenya has never been in the right direction like now. This year is an year that we will realize what has been being done was building a bridge for us to have prosperity in this country. Mm-hmm. I believe in what the president said. Mm-hmm. Dr. Ruto is not a joker. I know him in person. And I believe he works so hard to make sure that he doesn't let Kenyans down. He doesn't sleep. He doesn't blink. What does he do? He plans for this country the best he can. And in the next 5 years, or in the next 7 years as it is, because he's going for 10 years, we'll see his fruits. People will be very happy in this country for the first time.
Okay. Thank you so much. Disckson, Rono, a veteran journalist and the CEO of Rono TV International, a media house or a media production house based here in Nairobi for very many years. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for making time for us. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Faraji Media KE. Talk to us. Let us know what you think about the show, what we can add, what we can actually take out, because we believe it's all coming out very well. Please, let's meet again on Monday. Remember, this is the weekly report live with me, Faraji Kevin. Until next time, take care of yourself and good night.